Well, you just can't get enough, can you? So here we are, back at Eddie's Kitchen, La Mia Cucina. Buongiorno. I hope everybody's well and healthy. We're going to try something a little different today. First of all, let me just say thank you to Molly Smith for joining in on hashtag share a recipe, hashtag isolation recipes. It was great. She did that wonderful poached egg, those Italian basil eggs in that wonderful red sauce. And Molly's going to be back, I guarantee it, and others. So thanks for joining, Molly. It's great, and that's a delicious recipe. I've had it many times. Today, a little quick thing. I'm going to do a little dessert, a little almond-pear tart. It's really simple to make. It's fun. A couple of ingredients around the house. We're going to use some pears that I had. Last two pears, they're still a bit firm, which is great. Some blanched almonds, some sugar, some vanilla, some nutmeg, a little bit of flour, and some butter, and one egg. And we're going to start with making a little sort of poor man's marzipan, right? It's going to be a mix of the almonds and some sugar, a little bit of flour, and some egg. We're going to make our own little mixture. And we're going to use, as a crust, real simple, a puff pastry. It's real simple to do. We're going to defrost the puff pastry. We'll eventually put the sort of marzipan, the almond paste on top, put the pears on top. We're going to stick it in the oven. So right now, let's start with getting the oven preheated to 400. And we come back and I'll show you how to make this really simple, poor man's at-home, made-at-home marzipan almond paste. Welcome back. Here we go again. You guys are great. Love you. Okay, well, we're all set up here. I've got my food processor, and meantime, I've got about a tablespoon of butter or so just melting here, and I've got my puff pastry is defrosting on a quarter sheet on some parchment paper. So we're going to do the marzipan now. I'm going to take about 3/4 of a cup of these blanched almonds, throw them in there. This is about a 1/4 cup of sugar. And I put in this flour, about a tablespoon of flour and about a 1/2 teaspoon of fine salt. Stick that in there. And I'm going to grind this up, and then I'm going to add some other stuff. Let's start by just giving this a whirl here. Good, that's got like a nice little flour consistency there, finely ground. Great, that's good. Now I'm going to add in the egg, bind it up a little bit. I'm going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla for some flavoring, and a little secret thing just to give it a little more almondy kind of flavor. I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of some almond extract. That'll just really pull up that almond flavor. And then I'm going to take a little bit of fresh nutmeg. I love having fresh nutmeg around. It's just a great little spice. There's one over these. Okay. Got one of these guys and my handy dandy. Here it is. My little zester. And I'm going to do about 1/8 of a teaspoon of that, a little nutty flavor. Good. And then I'm going to pulse that up. It's going to get thick. Oh, I can smell that almond already. That just balls right up in there. And it's going to get so thick that it'll stop the blade. Get that as smooth as I can. This is like an almond paste. You could buy it at the store, but this is more fun. It's cheaper. Good. That's that. I'm going to take that out and let that sit for a little bit while I slice the pears. I'm going to take the pears and slice them into about 1/8 inch, and then once the puff pastry is ready and the oven is ready to go in, we'll put it together in the next little segment. Throw it in the oven for about 18 minutes, really quick. And you'll have a really nice almond pear tart. Be right back. Okay, hi folks, we're back. I have taken those two pears and sliced them up a little bit. I've used my apple corer and then sliced them into thirds after that, so they're nice slivers. I've taken my puff pastry that was defrosted, and I cheated a little bit. I rolled it out a little bit just to sort of get a little more space. The butter's ready to go. Now I'm just going to put it all together. I'm going to spread this mixture, this marzipan, on the pastry and leave about an inch on the sides. So this, whoops, gets away from the sticky stuff. And spread that out. And then I'm gonna, once this is done, I will put on the pear. Well, it's good and gooey. It's delicious too. All right. It's a pretty simple recipe. All right. I love almond paste. There's a great recipe for cookies, Italian cookies called pignoli, which also, but I use a regular almond paste for that. That's in the list. And I know you guys are clamoring for the meatballs, and I'm going to get to that. But I just thought, since we haven't done a dessert, and I had some of this still in the freezer, that I thought it might be a good way to. This is really great for guests. Like I said, it only really takes about a half hour, 20 minutes in the oven. And the other preparation, it just like takes 45 minutes and you're done. Okay, so there's that. God, it's so good. Oh my God. And now I'm gonna put the pear on. So there do rows like this. I think I can get 3 rows. That's good. And just get them on. Alright. Once this is done, I will stick this in the oven at 400, and it's ready to go. I can feel it from here. And do it 18 minutes. And after 9 minutes, I'm going to flip it, spin the sheet so that it cooks evenly, and then we will be good to go. Almost there. Doesn't take long, and it's fun to do. All right. And then we will dust it to finish it up with some powdered sugar. Makes it look really good. There you go. A couple extra pear pieces ready to go. Here's that. So, that's what it looks like. We're going to stick it in the oven at 400. And we're going to set this for 9 minutes. And after 9 minutes, I will come back and turn it around, and it will be ready to go. So, that is Almond-Pear Tart. We'll see what it looks like when it's all done. Thanks again for being here. This is a quick one. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll come back and take a look and see what it looks like when it's all done. Oh, you caught me. Had that little something. Whoa! It's ready. Let's take a look. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth here. I was so excited, I forgot to put the butter. I was supposed to sort of put the butter on top of the puff pastry before I put the almond paste on, but it doesn't matter because there's so much butter in the puff pastry anyway. And I sort of cheated a little bit and went back in and put some butter on the edges. Ooh, that looks pretty good. I bet, you know what, I could give that a few more minutes, but that's pretty good. And I'm going to let that cool a little bit, and then leave that for a few minutes, and I will then finish it with some powdered sugar once that cools off. And there's your dessert, your almond puff pastry. Really easy to do, great for guests whenever they show up someday. In the meantime, you have a nice little something for you and your partner, and have a little espresso, but a nice little dessert. And I'll come back in a minute after it's cooled off. Put some powdered sugar on it, and we'll have a little taste. Thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it, and this is just so much fun. And more things are coming. I'm going to try to get the meatballs. Once I need to get the supplies in, and once the supplies come in, Mama's meatballs are coming to you. So thanks. See ya for the finishing touch. Well, here we go. The finishing touch. A little bit of powdered sugar. So here we have our Almond-Pear Tart. Nice thing about this, aside from being really easy, is that it's really changeable. You could use apples. I've done this with apples. I've done it with blueberries. Whatever kind of fruit you want to do, and you end up with a lovely little tart like this. Cut it up, have a little espresso, and there you have it. So that's your Almond-Pear Tart. Thanks for tuning in again. We're taking it one day at a time, as you are, I'm sure. But please, as I said before, if you have an idea for a recipe, please share it with us. We'd love to get your soul food. I got more stuff coming down the pike. I've got some guests, again, thanks to Molly Smith. And we'll see you next time. I have a special treat for Easter coming. You've heard of ricotta cheesecake, but this is the ricotta cheesecake to beat all ricotta cheesecakes. It's called pastiera. It's made only for Easter, and that's going to be my next dessert while we're waiting for the chopped meat to come in to make the meatballs. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the Holy Week. Celebrating Easter coming up. We can stop the Carnevale. We can mangia bene. Buon appetito. Alla prossima volta. Dal mio cuore a voi. From my heart to you. Thanks so much for being here. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Ci vediamo alla prossima volta. Ciao.